My name is Emily Huggard, and I'm an assistant professor of fashion communication at Parsons School of Design in New York. My research interests really lie in looking at sort of the rise of digital-only fashion brands, as well as looking at art theory and cultural theory to unpack marketing communication strategies. So right now I'm particularly interested in looking at digital fashion as a more participatory, I guess, sort of slower approach to fashion. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to being part of the Kaleidoverse competition within the design sector. I'm thinking probably the first would be around community. So the fact that it has, and I keep saying opportunity because there's an opportunity in this sort of unknown future that we're sort of faced with. But it has an opportunity and sort of currently as well brings people together. So from things like Discord to gaming, it brings people together in a decentralized space where companies will be replaced by communities. These are two words, but fluid identity. So I think the metaverse provides an opportunity to escape binaries. So binaries around gender and size and sort of prescriptive constructs or social constructs that maybe hold us back in our sort of physical lives, and sort of giving the opportunity to be anyone that you want to be. And then I would say probably the third, which is probably has multiple perspectives, but would be transcending. So the idea of transcending physical realms or transcending into sort of a new space to maybe escape the mundaneness of daily life or to enhance things from your sort of physical existence. My own perspective, I guess, if you sort of think of what a kaleidoscope is sort of the idea of repeated reflection. So I would say that maybe it is a take on the reflection of the physical and the digital realms that sort of continuously reflect each other. And sort of are questioned in this as well as how important is the physical aspect of this, whether that's how it merges with your physical identity or in terms of fashion design, and how important it is to have sort of a physical iteration or materiality of the product as well, combined with the digital version. But I guess it also sort of reflects the diversity in the definitions of what the metaverse is as well, and sort of the different perspectives. So I guess, maybe the repeated reflection and the sort of differing views of looking at a kaleidoscope maybe reflect that. Yeah, I mean, I was thinking about this in the sense of, communicating a design concept in the digital world very much mirrors that of the physical world, in the sense that your audience or community still needs to connect with your design and your story, right? So I think as well, it needs to be covetable. It needs to be something that people desire, right? So I think something to sort of think about, as well in the digital realm is who is the audience? How does the concept reflect the designer and their story? Whether that's a personal story, but what are the larger questions that the designer is looking to answer or make the audience question? Is there a provocation? As well as, I think with communicating the design concept of a collection, you also want to sort of think about, is there a specific utility of the product that they need to communicate, or where will it be used, right? Is it for gaming? Is it a skin? Is it just a digital product that people will wear on social channels or in their digital world on Zoom, etc. So I think sort of thinking about utility in a different way to sort of physical fashion design, but I think it's something that needs to be communicated when thinking about the collection. So I mean, I think again, this is such an open, nascent space. So I'm hoping to sort of, see things that we don't within physical fashion design. And so, I mean, I would hope to see or expect to see design that reflects the future of the metaverse, or maybe that designer's specific perspective or definition of the metaverse. So we talked about kaleidoscope and sort of different definitions of what this future is. But also sort of technical competence in the sense of sort of digital fashion. So, obviously within digital fashion, drape and fit is still very important in terms of the garment, as well as a balance of futurism, I think, as well as current aesthetics of fashion. And however the designer wants to define that, there's not sort of a standardized current aesthetic of fashion, but how do they sort of define that in their own practice? And then I think I was reading something, a quote yesterday from the founder of Placebo, Roy Derhy, who said that I try to combine the fantastical with the rich language of fashion. And I thought that was a really interesting kind of perspective on it. So how do you combine the fantastical and the sort of practical elements that are sort of possible within digital fashion with the sort of current rich language of fashion? I mean, there's so many boundaries and gatekeeping that happens within sort of traditional fashion systems, which, again, I think the metaverse, I keep saying opportunity because there's opportunity for really positive, amazing things, as well as some dystopian and negative aspects as well. But I think, the sort of current factors that determine the boundaries of fashion would be that I think designers are always thinking about functional aspects of clothing and utility. So, comfort is an aspect. You can't wear a multi-layer floating garment that's, 10 feet long on the subway in the morning. But this is possible within digital fashion design. As well as I think the sort of boundaries are, when you're thinking about physical production of clothes, you're thinking about producing, right? So the sort of traditional boundaries around production and consumption, as well as sort of ownership, which I think is a boundary. Whereas I think within the metaverse, people aren't as, I mean, I can't make a broad statement about that, but maybe ownership isn't as important as it is within physical fashion ownership. And then I think designers and brands are thinking always about what audiences will want to wear in the physical world versus allowing them to be more playful. So I think there's an opportunity for the designers to be more playful, but also think about who they're designing for, wanting to be more playful in these spaces. And then I also sort of think I'm going back to people that are kind of working in this space currently, but I think, the Fabricant based in Amsterdam says that data will be a design influence, and those who don't currently consider themselves fashion savvy will create their own looks. So I think it's also an opportunity for people who are maybe not traditionally trained designers, and I mean that in the sense of, haven't gone to a fashion school or had opportunity to work within, the fashion world. They're still very much can be part of this system and be able to be designers and create their own looks. So I think there's an opportunity there to kind of further open that up.